What up gamers, Fence here, and today in this video I want to try to start something new here where I give my take on if Yu-Gi-Oh characters played Shadowverse or at least use Shadowverse cards and what class they would use. So this idea came to my mind one time when I saw someone made some pictures of like Yu-Gi-Oh characters using Pokemon, and yeah, I thought I would do that with Shadowverse cards here. Because, yeah, Shadowverse is my favorite card game, but I also like Yu-Gi-Oh! And with their anime and their story and their characters. And so, yeah, I thought, why not try to make some of those characters use some Shadowverse cards? But before we get started, I do want to say a couple of things first. Number one, this is my own personal opinion on what I think these Yu-Gi-Oh characters would use in Shadowverse, and there's a bunch of cards in Shadowverse as well. And because of that, I might be missing out on some cards that may fit in way more than what I choose for them. And if that is the case, then let me know down in the comments below on what you guys think would work way more than what I choose for them. Because yeah, I'm only one mind. I'm also pretty curious about what you guys would give for them in terms of like cards and classes. And number two, the cards and classes I assign them will not be a direct translation to what they would use in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Shadowverse, they both play very differently, and so there's no card in Shadowverse that exactly plays like a Dark Magician or a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Instead, I'll just be assigning them cards and classes that I feel like would match them up the most. So with all of that said, let's get started. Now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to name a character, and then I'm going to declare them a class and a few cards that I think they would use. And I guess to begin things here, we'll start off then no other than Yugi Moto. Yeah, the king of games himself. So yeah, I'll be starting things off with the Duel Monsters anime. I'll be choosing 5 duelists from there. And yeah, I gotta say though, with the Duel Monsters anime, they don't really stick with an archetype like with the the future spin-offs, especially with the main good guy characters like Yugi and Joey. They got a mix of monsters, and yeah, it can be pretty hard to choose a class to like associate them with. But with Yugi here, I feel like it's pretty obvious that he is associated with the Dark Magician archetype the most, and because of that, he is going to become a runecraft player, which has a lot of mages and wizards and magic. And I do know one card that I feel like would fit in well with him the most as his ace monster, his own Dark Magician, and that is the Forbidden Dark Mage. Going with the name here, Forbidden, I feel like that can be a reference to Exodia, the Forbidden One. And then Dark Mage, I feel like that's pretty much straightforward. Dark Mage, Dark Magician. But yeah, with the naming of this card and also just how dark this guy looks, I feel like this guy can be the equivalent to, yeah, Dark Magician for Yugi over here. And yeah, going back to the Forbidden part, I also feel like you can also end games in a similar way to Exodia, not in terms of like an alternate win condition, more like when you play this card, then you might be able to win this game. And that is just based on this guy's effect, like I said. So he gains attack and defense when you play him, and that is based on the number of allied stat cards consumed this match. And so I feel like he would play an Earthright deck and just be consuming a bunch of these stat cards. And then he would deal wide damage to an enemy that also includes the enemy leader, and Y equals his follower's attack. And yeah, what that means is like when you take the base damage of 2 here, and then you add the number of allied stat cards consumed this match to it, like let's say he consumed 8, he can deal 10 damage to an enemy follower, but I feel like you would want to use it more on the enemy leader. Like if you're able to like get their health down to 10, and then yeah, you can just make this guy very powerful, going up to like 10 attack and defense, and just do like a dark magic attack on the enemy leader and try to win the match. I don't know, I just feel like that is just such a like Yugi Moto type of thing that he would do to try to end things off with this ace monster. And yeah, I just see Forbidden Dark Mage here as Yugimoto's yeah, ace monster to use for Shadowverse. But I do have an honorable mention here in which I think it's not a, yeah, I don't think this is not a good honorable mention, and that is Bergent, the Onion Patch Master. So yeah, let me explain on why why that is. But yeah, one, if you want a card that is maybe closer stat-wise to the Dark Magician, I feel like maybe this card might be the way to go. It's the only one that I can find. Like if you see the cost over here, if you see that as like maybe the level of the monster, like with Dark Magician, he is also level 7, then maybe that can match up. It also, I feel like, has maybe similar stats to what it would be, like if you go from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Shadowverse, I feel like the stats would be similar here. And also she does give off like this, I don't know, this ace monster type of look as a magician type character. Yeah, I just feel like she would be one, like maybe a dark magician girl. Um, but yeah, I would say this card though is more based on a spell boost deck rather than a Earthright deck, which kind of conflicts with the Forbidden Dark Mage. But yeah, something I also thought was maybe could be a reference would be the Onion Patch over here, which yeah, let me go back actually to Bergen's here. So yeah, her effect is to summon an Onion Patch when you play her, and then give the leader the following effect. Whenever you play a spell, you summon an Onion Patch. And yeah, what is an Onion Patch? It's this little dude over here where yeah, he gets summoned whenever you play a spell, or whenever you play Bergen's. And yeah, it's just you pretty much like swarm the field with this guy, and I kind of see that like with Karibo and the multiply effect. But once again, you know, it is more of like a spell boost type card because whenever it does attack, it does spell boost the cards in my hands, and yeah, yeah, if you want like maybe a dark magician type card, but also maybe a Karibo multiplying thing, then maybe this card here, Bergent, maybe might be the way to go. But I would definitely recommend, yeah, Forbidden Dark Mage over this. So next up is Seto Kaiba, and I feel like he's pretty much straightforward. You know, he really loves his Blue Eyes White Dragon, even has a jet modeled after one. And so yeah, because of that, he is a Dragoncraft user, and I feel like for the type of deck he would play, I feel like he would play a buff dragon deck, and I do know one card that I feel like would fit in pretty well with him, and that is the Prophetic Dragon here. So the Prophetic Dragon here, when you play him, you summon 2 other Prophetic Dragons onto the field, and then you change their defense to make it equal to the defense of this follower, the one that you played. And yeah, basically with the buff dragon deck, what they usually do is you have these cards that would increase the defense of the Dragoncraft followers in your deck. And so yeah, if you can like increase it to like 10, then you have like 3 prophetic dragons with the defense of 10, and also ward 2, which means you have to fight the dragons first before you can attack the, like, you know, your leader pretty much, which can mirror like the Yu-Gi-Oh mechanic where you can't attack directly until you destroyed all the other monsters on the field. And since, you know, I would say like Blue Eyes White Dragon cards can be kind of hard to take care of or to remove of unless you have like, you know, a special effects and all that, then yeah, I feel like this in a way could be like summoning 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon onto the field and, you know, making it pretty hard for it to get rid of. And I feel like it also fits in pretty well, you know, with him being like a buff dragon user, with another dragon card that is an actual Blue Eyes White Dragon, and that is the Imperial Dragon. Yep, here it is. Yep, an actual white dragon that has blue eyes. So yeah, you can also play this card too with the Prophetic Dragon because they do synergize with each other pretty well, where yeah, this card, when you play it, it gives buff to the Dragoncraft followers in your deck. That can also include the Prophetic Dragon. And so yeah, you know, because of this, I feel like he would be a buff dragon deck user. But the problem with the prophetic dragon and the imperial dragon, and I guess the buff dragon archetype in general, is that they're more of a defensive playstyle. And so if you do want more of a offensive playstyle, then I do have some honorable mentions here. So yeah, the first one here is the Genesis dragons. There's two of them here. They both have storm, and that means you can deal just 7 damage to the face right away if your enemy followers do not have ward. But yeah, I feel like this would fit in pretty well because in the Shadowverse anime, there is the Genesis Corporation, which I feel like would be the equivalent to the Kaiba Corporation, and so I feel like that'll be something that Kaiba would do if he were to own the Genesis Corporation, is to have a dragon that has the same name as the corporation. So yeah, I feel like Kaiba would use these cards over here. But yeah, next up would be the Bahamut cards over here. Mainly the Primeval Dragon, just because I feel like, appearance-wise, he does give off that similar feeling to when you look at the Blue Eyes White Dragon, but also with the effects too, in a way, because I know that maybe Kaiba would want to end the game off with the Blue Eyes or his Ace Monster, in which, yeah, it does deal 12 damage divided between followers and the enemy leader. And so that means if you're able to like get rid of all the enemy followers and then play this card, then you can deal like 12 damage to the enemy leader's face. And that can feel like maybe a Blue Eyes White Dragon White Lightning attack with this card. But I would say, with this card here though, it is very heavy, stat wise. Like, it is a very powerful card just with these stats alone being double digits on both the attack and defense. But let's say you do want a card, a dragon that is more closer to the stats of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and I do have one more. You have just one more card that I feel like would fit in well if you want more of a dragon that is closer to the stats and effects of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and that is the Dragon's Horde. It is an amulet where it does have this gimmicky thing with the countdown of 20 or 10 if you do enhance of 8. But yeah, if we're able to pull this off, which I have tried doing this before, it's very I feel like wasteful. But yeah, if you're able to pull this off, you summon a Dragon Spear where at the end of your turn, you transform all of your allied followers without ward into Inferno Dragons, which is this card over here. And I feel like this card, stat-wise, is very much like the equivalent to a Blue Eyes White Dragon, in my opinion. Because once again, if you do see the costs and levels of these cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Shadowverse, this card is the cost of 8, like with the Blue Eyes White Dragon being level 8, and it does have some pretty, powerful attack and defense for a card like this. And also, this card does not have any effects, just like the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And finally, if you do evolve this card, it does turn into a blue dragon. So that's probably the closest you can get for a, Blue Eyes White Dragon, stat-wise and appearance-wise maybe. But yeah, if you do want a more competitive deck, I feel like maybe, yeah, definitely the buff dragon would be the way to go. I feel like with the honorable mentions I mentioned, that might be harder to pull off. Like, if you're going to be using the Genesis Dragon, then I would say, yeah, let me go all the way back. Then yeah, use the other one then. At least use this one just for that acceleration effect here. I feel like this would be a better choice if you do want to use a Genesis Dragon. But yeah, if you want to be more of a competitive type user using a Seto Kaiba themed deck, then I think Buff Dragon would be the way to go. So originally I was gonna do a total of 5 duelists, but because this video is taking way too long, I'm gonna cut it down to 3 duelists in total and just do one more here. And that last duelist I'll be covering is Joey Wheeler. So just like with Yugi, Joey does use a variety of monsters, like you got Time Wizard and Jinzo, that can be Runecraft or Portalcraft, and then you got Baby Dragon and Red Eyes Black Dragon, that can be Dragoncraft. And then he also uses a lot of warriors and beast warriors, and because of that, I think I'm going to make him a Swordcraft user. I would love to like at least have Dragoncraft as like maybe a Crosscraft type of deck to like maybe choose a Red Eyes Black Dragon. But yeah, if I were to choose one, it would be Swordcraft, and I would make his ace monster based on the Flame Swordsman since he pretty much dressed up as one in that one episode, like in the first season, since that's his favorite monster, I think. But yeah, I can think of like two monsters that can maybe match up to the Flame Swordsman. The first one is Reinhardt the Deathless. I mean, just based on the cost of the card and the attack and defense, and also just the card arts over here, it does feel like it's around that range of the stats of the Flame Swordsman. Also, with the energy it does give off with the card arts. But the difference between this card and the Flame Swordsman is that this card here has an effect, which I think the Flame Swordsman does not have an effect. But yeah, whenever this follower takes damage, if it is not destroyed, gain 1 attack and defense and fully restore its defense. And that can be pretty good. Having this card in the field, it can be pretty annoying for the enemy, but I feel like it can be taken care of pretty easily. And so because of that, I think this card here is pretty good, but not the best. And I feel like that's pretty appropriate for Joey here. Now, the other card I can think of for the Flame Swordsman would be the Blazing Lion Admiral over here. I mean, yeah, with the attack and defense and also just the card arts, it does remind me of like the Flame Swordsman, like it does give off that energy as well. But this card in a way is kind of like Reinhardt, like in a way, with the rush and strike over here, where instead of like giving 1-1, like 1 attack and defense to itself, it can instead just give 1 attack and defense to other allied followers. And yeah, I guess in a way this is like a more selfless version where Reinhardt will be more of a selfish version. But yeah, I think for me though, I would choose Reinhardt just because I feel like it is like way closer to like a Flame Swordsman, and it can also just handle itself as well on becoming more powerful and potentially just winning the game with it. So yeah, that is my take on if Yu-Gi-Oh characters use Shadowverse cards, and I do want to make more of these type of videos because I think it's pretty fun and interesting that way. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below, like I said at the very beginning of this video, where yeah, what would you guys choose for the cards for these Yu-Gi-Oh duelists, with Yugi or Kaiba, or with Joey here, or maybe some other duelists that I have not mentioned. I know like really quick on top of my head, we can say like Rex Raptor would be Dragoncraft with the dinosaurs. You can say like Weevil could be Forestcraft, or what else? Taya would be Havencraft. Yeah, stuff like that. It's just yeah, maybe I'll do that next time or at some point in the future. It's just I don't want to make this video way too long. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making more of these videos just because, I think it's just pretty fun to think about. I'm losing my my breath here. But yeah, I think it's just pretty fun to think about on like what these characters would use in Shadowverse. And I also want to like, maybe do it the other way around maybe. I'm not too sure. I'm not really that good at Yu-Gi-Oh compared to like Shadowverse, so yeah, we'll see. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. That's game.